The clock is
Okay.
ticking. Go on.
Hi, everyone. My name is George Florovsky. I'm a delivery manager at MLabs. I'm here to talk to you about 3 new and exciting proposals for Catalyst Fund 9 that we have. These aren't the only proposals from MLabs, but these are my personal favorites. So I volunteered to speak to you about them. So first, I'd like to tell you a little bit about us. MLabs is a Haskell Rust consultancy specializing in blockchain applications, audit, artificial intelligence and machine learning and analytics. We have 80 plus developers working on more than 20 Cardano projects, and we've been doing so for the past 2 years on Cardano. And as we've done this, we've developed a very keen sense for what the main obstacles are to shipping Cardano dApps and what the gaps are in the ecosystem that prevent certain types of applications from occurring. So it's in that spirit that we've come up with the following 3 proposals. So the first proposal, we call it Embedano, and that's short for embedded devices on Cardano. The problem here is that currently there's very limited interaction possible between Cardano and embedded devices. Mostly it's limited to hardware wallets, and even those are limited to a very small subset of the full Cardano wallet API. And those last innovations, they date back to the Shelley era. And as we all know, a lot has gone on since Shelley. We've had Alonzo, we now have Vassal coming up, and that opens up a variety of very interesting applications, but the devices need to evolve to be able to keep up with the new features in Cardano. And this is important because self-sovereignty, security, decentralization, and energy sustainability depend on us being able to use embedded devices, embedded low-energy devices effectively in Cardano. So what do we propose? We propose to develop an open SDK for embedded devices on Cardano. We want to start off building upon the existing hardware wallet integration for Trezor and Ledger that exists in Cardano. And we want to expand it out to a full-fledged SDK where you can build a variety of different embedded device applications on Cardano. First step there would be to expand it out to the full Cardano wallet API. And then we'd like to explore potential new use cases with embedded devices. So for example, we can have autonomous hardware security models where essentially dApp providers could hook up a device in their infrastructure and have it authorize a certain class of wallet transactions as part of their infrastructure, and very easily be able to revoke that capability by disconnecting the device or deauthorizing the login to that device. We'd like to explore the potential for integrating hardware wallets with Mithril super light wallets, that concept that IOG is working with Galois on. And finally, we'd like to explore different use cases for single sign-on to different applications out there via Cardano transactions. Sorry, a little formatting bug. The second proposal is expanding the Cardano transaction library's backends to include Blockfrost, in addition to the existing Ogmios support. So Cardano transaction library is a library to build transactions in the browser as opposed to in the backend. This allows a much more flexible way of interacting with front-end code for dApp developers, responsive Web3 applications. Currently, it only supports the Ogmios backend for blockchain queries. This was a principal choice because Ogmios is a self-hosted service. So from the perspective of decentralization, at the time that Cardano transaction library was defined, we felt that it was important to support a self-hosted infrastructure for dApp providers. Unfortunately, this turns out to be not as great for smaller projects and individuals who would actually like the option to be able to run on Blockfrost without the need to self-host. So To rectify this, we are proposing to develop a Blockfrost backend for Cardano transaction library. This will eliminate the need for self-hosted infrastructure doing dApp development, and make Ogmios an optional thing for production. As part of this proposal or this project, we will demonstrate a dApp capable of switching between Ogmios and Blockfrost on demand as needed by the dApp provider. And of course, we'll include robust testing and reliability plans, documentation guides, and so on. I'm sorry for the formatting bugs. The last proposal that we have is called Cardano dApp schemas. And this proposal arose as we discovered that during dApp development, there is a significant amount of effort that is being spent on defining dApp types and dealing with serialization and deserialization issues in every dApp project. This is a bit of an oversight in the infrastructure of Cardano. In the original extended UTXO model and Plutus papers, it was envisioned that everything would be written in a single language, Haskell, being used for on-chain code, off-chain code, analytics, databases, and so on. Unfortunately, this vision is not borne out in practice. The mainstream right now is to develop on-chain code in Haskell or Plutarch, off-chain code in PureScript or JavaScript in the front end, and then databases analytics use SQL and a variety of other languages. Each one of these has to repeatedly define the same main types of the dApp, and the discrepancies in these can cause security vulnerabilities, and they often cause huge headaches for the developers throughout the project in terms of nailing down these discrepancies and addressing them. So what we're proposing is a way to define language-agnostic dApp schemas. This is actually a current best practice in modern software systems. For example, a Google engineer, when defining a new microservice, wouldn't define all of their types in JavaScript and then all of their types in Java and so on and so forth. Instead, they would define their types in protobuf and then rely on the protobuf library to be able to generate the corresponding types and serialization, deserialization code in whatever languages and frameworks are being used by the colleagues that they collaborate with. So we propose to bring the same capability to Cardano. We want dApp developers to be able to define their dApp schemas once and for all, and then reuse them across all of their dApp components, their on-chain scripts, their off-chain scripts, their analytics code. And then our framework would generate the language-specific types and serialization automatically from the dApp schema. dApp developers would thus have full confidence that their types will match across component boundaries, eliminating a huge amount of effort that is spent on this, speeding up delivery timelines on projects, and eliminating discrepancies as a class of problems.
Sorry.
So